So it'll be Dax Edmonds, Jacob Martinez, and Trey Orman to bat for the Crimson Storm. The Rangers, after scoring a run in the bottom of the second by virtue of Hagen Barcelo's solo shot, split that Crimson Storm lead in half. The first pitch to Dax Edmonds is fouled off for a strike, and the count is 0-1. Jacob Fuller on the mound for the Rangers, and the 0-1 pitch is inside for a ball, and that'll move the count to 1-1. So 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be fouled off. Dylan Bradford over there to take a look at it, but it's out of play. The count moves to 1-2. Dax Edmonds is 0 for this game. Doesn't have an official at bat. He walked in his first plate appearance back in the first inning. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that's going to be fouled off. The count will hold at 1-2. Crimson Storm scored 2 in the second. Rangers got 1 in the bottom of the second. It's 2-1 is our score. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that's just fouled off. The count will hold at 1-2. Rangers, by virtue of their first game win, moved to 6-4 in GAC play, 11-2 here in Alva. 1-2 the count to Dax Edmonds, and here's the pitch, and that's going to be outside and low for a ball, and that'll move the count to 2-2. Here's Fuller with the 2-2 pitch, and that ball's going to be roped into right field for a base hit. And the Crimson Storm have their leadoff hitter aboard here in the third. So that'll bring Jacob Martinez to the plate. Martinez is 0 for 1 today. He was called out on strikes in his first at bat. Four strikeouts so far for Ranger pitcher Jacob Fuller. So runner on first. Rangers trail it by a score of 2-1. We're in the top of the third. There are nobody out. First pitch to Jacob Martinez is taken for a ball, and the count is 1-0. Fuller fires over to first, but Dax Edmonds is back safely. Want to know the count. Runner on first. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be low for a ball, and that'll move the count to 2-0. Jacob Fuller has now thrown 49 pitches through 2 official innings, thrown 30 strikes. 19 pitches have missed the strike zone. 2-0 the count here to Jacob Martinez, and here's the pitch, and that's in there for a called strike, and the count moves to 2-1. Jacob Martinez came into this game as the leading hitter for the Crimson Storm. Batting average of about .360. 2-1 the count. Fuller fires over to first. Dax Edmonds is back safely. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That ball's going to be roped into right center field. Right fielder Paul Sachin there to make the catch. And there's the first out of the inning. So that'll bring Trey Orman to the plate. Orman today is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. 2 runs on 4 hits and an error for Southern Nazarene. 1 run on 3 hits for the Rangers. Here's the first pitch to Orman. And appeal down to first. No swing. The count is 1-0. Rangers with a left-hander warming up in their bullpen. 1-0 the count to Trey Orman. Runner on first, one out, top of the third. Here's the pitch. And that's a called strike. That moves the count to 1-1 on the Crimson Storm right fielder. So 1-1 the count. And here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. So that'll bring the count to 1-2. One and two the count. Here's the pitch. And that hit him. So Trey Orman will take first base on the hit by pitch, and that'll bring to the plate Blake Brinkmeyer. Brinkmeyer is 1 for 1 today. He singled in his first at bat and eventually came around to score on Chase Hudson's RBI double. So now runners at first and second, one out in the top of the third. Rangers trailing at 2-1. Here's the pitch, and Brinkmeyer squares to bunt, and it's a good one. Catcher Zach Vital there, but doesn't have a play. And for the second time in this game, the Crimson Storm have a bunt by a single. So that'll bring Weston Hicks to the plate. Bases are loaded. Hicks does not have an official at bat in this game. He walked in his first plate appearance. And Jacob Fuller is in a little bit of a jam. Here's the first pitch to Weston Hicks. That's a called strike. And the count is 0-1. Jacob Fuller trying to keep the Crimson Storm off the scoreboard here in the third. He's got Weston Hicks at the plate with the bases loaded. And the 0-1 pitch is taken for a strike. In the on-deck circle is the red-hot Chase Hudson, who has homered and doubled and done everything else in these two games. 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch, and that's off the plate for a ball. And the count moves to 2-1. 2-1 the count. I'm sorry, 1-2 the count. Bases loaded, top of the third. Rangers trailing at 2-1. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that's low for a ball. So that'll move the count to 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that's going to be fouled. And the count will hold at 2-2. Two and two the count. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be low for a ball. So that'll move the count to 3-2. Bases full of Crimson Storm, with Chase Hudson in the on-deck circle. Here's the payoff pitch, and that ball is going to be roped into left field. Carson Wright there. Here's the throw, and it's not going to be in time. So the Rangers do pick up another out. Unfortunately, though, the ball was hit just deep enough. Well, to wait. That's the third out. Well, I'm not sure what happened, but we'll certainly take it. Jacob Fuller manages to get out of a difficult situation. We go to the bottom of the third. Our score is still 2-1. So the Rangers managed to get out of the third inning. The bases were loaded. Weston Hicks flied out to left field. And Dax Edmonds, who was on third, was called for leaving the base early. And so that was the third out of the innings. So the Rangers now come to the bottom of the third, trailing it by a score of 2-1. Dylan Bradford will lead off. He'll be followed by Carson Wright and Chad Green. And the first pitch is a called strike. So 0-1 the count. And the 0-1 pitch is taken for a ball. Count moves to 1-1. Dylan Bradford is 1 for 1 in this game. Singled in his first at bat. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And that ball is going to be roped into left field. Chase Hudson is there, makes the catch. And it's 1 up, 1 down for the Rangers. So that'll bring to the plate Carson Wright. Wright grounded out in his first plate appearance. Went 2 for 3 in the first game with 3 RBIs. Carson Wright is 12th in the GAC in batting average. The first pitch to Wright is taken for a ball. He's tied for third in home runs. Tied for first in walks, and he's 4th in the GAC with a .533 on-base percentage. He's ahead in the count here, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch is fouled off, and that'll move the count to 1-1. Carson Wright did draw 2 walks in that first game of the doubleheader. So depending on what happened, he might be leading the GAC in walks. Here's the pitch, and that's off the plate for a ball. That'll move the count to 2-1. So 2-1 the count to the Rangers' left fielder. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that's just off the plate for a ball. The count moves to 3-1. Chad Green in the on-deck circle for the Rangers. He would be followed by Paul Sachin if the inning is extended. 2 runs on 5 hits and an error for the Crimson Storm. 1 run on 3 hits for the Rangers. And the 3-1 pitch to Carson Wright is fouled off. And that'll move the count to 3-2. So 3-2 the count. Patrick Hine gets the sign from Sebastian Figa. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be ball 4. So once again, Carson Wright draws a walk, and that'll bring to the plate Chad Green. Chad today is 1 for 1 in this game. He singled in his first at bat. He did have a hit in the first game of the doubleheader. And the first pitch to Chad Green is in there for a strike. So the Rangers have a runner at first. There's 1 out in the bottom of the third. Rangers are trailing it by a score of 2-1. Chad Green at the plate, Paul Sachin on deck, and Carson Wright at first following his walk. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and Chad Green is going to look at strike 2. Pitch just caught the outside corner. And now Chad Green is down in the count. So 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And that's high for a ball, and that'll move the count to 1-2. 1-2 the count. Rangers trying to move to 7-4 on the season in GAC play and 12-2 at home. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Runner takes off for second, but the ball is fouled off, and the count holds at 1-2, and Carson Wright will have to go back to first. Shadows slowly beginning to make their way into the field of play. Remind everybody to set their clocks forward an hour tonight. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Chad Green. And that's off the plate for a ball. That'll move the count to 2-2. So 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. That'll move the count to 3-2. Three and two the count. Hine fires over to first. Carson Wright back safely. Three and two the count. Runner on first. One out, bottom of the third. Rangers trailing it by a score of 2-1. Here's the pitch. Runner takes off. The ball is swung on a miss. Meanwhile, the runner is safe at second. So Chad Green strikes out, but Carson Wright steals second. And that'll bring Paul Sachin to the plate. Sachin is 0 for 1 today. He struck out in his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Sachin, and that's going to be inside for ball one. So 1-0 the count. Runner on second, now 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Rangers trying to get the tying run across. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that's going to be in there for a strike. Count moves to 1-1 to the Rangers right fielder. One and one the count. Here's the pitch. And that ball's going to be fouled off, and the count will move to 1-2. So 1-2 the count. Paul Sachin at the plate trying to get Carson Wright home. And here's the 1-2 pitch. And Sachin will foul that one off, and the count will hold at 1-2. If Sachin can get aboard, Colby Grace up next for the Rangers. Rangers have a runner on second. 2 outs in the bottom of the third, trailing it 2-1. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. And that'll move the count to 2-2. Two and two the count, 2 outs, bottom of the third. Rangers trailing it 2-1. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that ball is going to be ripped foul. And that's going to be a very emphatic foul ball, but the count will hold at 2-2. That's going to be a long walk for the guys that have to go pick up the foul balls. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that ball is skied high. Blake Brinkmeyer at third, over and makes the catch. And the Rangers are retired in the third. So to the fourth we go. Rangers trailing this one by a score of 2-1. Chase Hudson, Tucker LeMay, and Sebastian Figa set to hit for the Crimson Storm in the top of the fourth. Crimson Storm leading this one by a score of 2-1. Chase Hudson has already doubled in this game and picked up yet another RBI. The first pitch to Hudson is looked at for ball one. In game one of our doubleheader, he went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs, including a very long and very emphatic home run. 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch, and they appeal to down to third, and he did swing. And so the count will move to 1-1. 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch from Fuller. And they appeal to third again, and he swung again. So the count moves to 1-2. Hudson trying to check his swing. Can't quite check it quickly enough. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be a little high for a ball. The count moves to 2-2. Nobody on in the top of the fourth. Rangers trailing at 2-1. Here's the pitch. And that ball is going to be ripped into right field for a base hit as Chase Hudson continues to swing a hot bat. And the Crimson Storm have their leadoff runner aboard. So that'll bring Tucker LeMay to the plate. LeMay is 1 for 1. He reached by a bunt single in his first at bat. First game of the doubleheader, he doubled over the head of Ranger left fielder Carson Wright. And we're going to get a visit from Ranger skipper Ryan Bowen, and he motions to the bullpen, and so we'll have a new pitcher. We'll tell you who it is when we come back here in just a minute. Well, on to pitch for the Rangers will be 6'2" junior from Muscatine, Iowa, Dawson Toborg. Toborg on the season has pitched 14 innings for the Rangers. He's given up 17 hits, 7 earned runs. He's walked 5. He's struck out 8, given up 3 doubles and a home run. Got an ERA of about 4.5. And he will look to keep this a 1-run ball game. Tucker LeMay at the plate for the Crimson Storm. He would be followed by Sebastian Figa and Colby Entwistle. Southern Nazarene with 2 runs in the second. Rangers counter with a run in the bottom of the second off the Hagen Barcelo solo home run. Rangers trail it by a score of 2-1, looking to sweep the doubleheader and put themselves in a position to get the 3-game sweep tomorrow. First pitch, 1 o'clock for the Sunday ball game, so plenty of time to get out of church and get something to eat. Come watch some Ranger baseball. So Toborg to face Tucker LeMay. And the first pitch, and LeMay is bunting. Dylan Bradford tries to come up with it and can't, and LeMay is on for the second time today by virtue of a bunt. We'll have to see if the official scorer wants to rule that an error or a hit. That'll be ruled an error on Ranger first baseman Dylan Bradford. And that'll bring to the plate Sebastian Figa. And the first pitch to Figa is taken for a strike. Rangers came into this series as the best defensive team in the GAC by virtue of fielding percentage and fewest errors, but they committed 1 error in the first game, and now they've got a second error, or they've got a second error today. Oh, 0-1 is the count to Sebastian Figa, who struck out in his first plate appearance. Runners at first and second, top of the fourth, nobody out. Rangers trailing it by a score of 2-1. Figa squares to bunt. Here's the pitch. And he pulls back, and it's high for a ball. And the count moves to 1-1. So 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be high for a ball. And the count moves to 2-1. Crimson Storm have runners on first and second. Nobody out in the top of the fourth. Rangers, after winning the first game of the doubleheader 10-7, trail this one by a score of 2-1. And here's the pitch. And once again, the pitch is high for a ball. Count moves to 3-1. On deck for the Crimson Storm is Colby Entwistle, who is their leadoff hitter. And so the Rangers are really walking a tight line here. 3-1 the count. Figa squares to bunt. Here's the pitch, and that's ball 4. So the bases are loaded. Nobody out in the top of the fourth. Colby Entwistle steps to the plate. He's 0 for 2 in this game. He grounded out to Jacob Wiltshire in his first at-bat, and he struck out in his second at-bat. And we'll see what the Crimson Storm want to do here. They've played small ball pretty effectively in this game. And the first pitch to Entwistle is in there for strike 1. Chase Hudson at third, Tucker LeMay at second, Sebastian Figa at first. By virtue of a single, followed by an error, followed by a walk. 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. That'll move the count to 0-2. Dax Edmonds in the on-deck circle for the Crimson Storm. 0-2 the count to Colby Entwistle. And here's the pitch. And that ball's going to be hit to second baseman Barcelo. Flips to second to one, on to first, and there's the double play. Meanwhile, Hudson comes in to score, and LeMay gets to third. So the Rangers pick up 2 outs on the double play. And meanwhile, surrender a run. So that'll bring Dax Edmonds to the plate. He's first pitch swinging, chops it up to third base where Colby Grace picks it up, makes the throw, but the ball is bobbled by Dylan Bradford, and the runner is safe. Meanwhile, Tucker LeMay comes in to score from third, and the Crimson Storm now lead it by a score of 4-1. And once again, we'll have to see how the official scorekeeper wants to score that. But either way, Rangers now trail it 4-1. Jacob Martinez steps to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. He has struck out and flied out, and he hits a soft line drive to second baseman Hagen Barcelo, who's up with it, fires to first, and there's the third out. But the Crimson Storm get 2. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Rangers trailing this one by a score of 4-1. On to the bottom of the fourth we go. Colby Grace to lead things off for the Rangers. He is 0 for 1 in this game. Flied out to center field in his first at-bat. Southern Nazarene with 2 runs in the second, 2 runs in the fourth. Rangers with a run in the second. Rangers trail it 4-1. The first pitch to Colby Grace is low for a ball. Counts 1-0. Hagen Barcelo and Zach Vital scheduled to hit for the Rangers here in the bottom of the fourth. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Count moves to 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's a little low. And by a little low, I mean it bounced in front of home plate. And the count moves to 2-1. Rangers did commit their second error of the ball game. First baseman Dylan Bradford with the bobble over at first base. The 2-1 pitch is swung on and missed. The count moves to 2-2. 2-2 the count. And here's the pitch. And the 2-2 pitch is lifted foul. Entwistle goes over and takes a look at it, but that's in the Crimson Storm bullpen. And the count will hold at 2-2. 2-2 the count. Colby Grace trying to get things started for the Rangers here in the fourth. That ball's going to be lifted to left field. Hudson going back, makes the catch. And there's the first out of the inning for the Rangers. So that'll bring Hagen Barcelo to the plate. Barcelo is 1 for 1 in this game. He homered in his first at-bat and is responsible for the one Ranger run in this game. He also homered in the first game of the doubleheader. And the first pitch to Hagen Barcelo is in there for a strike. The count is 0-1. Zach Vital in the on-deck circle for the Rangers. And he would be followed by Trevor Sayre if the Rangers can extend the inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that ball is going to be lifted high into shallow left field. Chase Hudson is under it, makes the catch, and there's 2 away. So that'll bring Zach Vital to the plate. Vital is 0 for 1 officially in this game. He reached by an error on Jacob Martinez in center field in his first at-bat. And the Rangers in need of base runners here as they trail it by a score of 4-1. Here's the first pitch to Vital. And Vital's first pitch swinging, hits it over to LeMay at short, up with it, makes the throw. And there's the third out. So 3 up, 3 down for the Rangers in the fourth. We go to the top of the fifth. Southern Nazarene 4, Northwestern 1. Trey Orman, Blake Brinkmeyer, and Weston Hicks set to hit for the Crimson Storm as we move to the top of the fifth inning. Southern Nazarene leading this one by a score of 4-1. Trey Orman steps in to lead things off for the Crimson Storm. He is 0 for 1 in this game. He has struck out and been hit by a pitch. And the first pitch to Trey Orman is swung on and missed for strike one. 0-1 the count. Dawson Toborg out for his second inning. Here's the pitch, and that's a called strike. And the count moves to 0-2. Blake Brinkmeyer on deck for the Crimson Storm, and he's 2 for 2 in this game. So you certainly want to pick up this out here. Here's the 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Trey Orman is down on strikes, and that'll bring to the plate third baseman Blake Brinkmeyer. Brinkmeyer is 2 for 2 in this game. He came around and scored a run. And he would be followed by Weston Hicks and then Chase Hudson if things are extended. Toborg gets the sign from Zach Vital, and the first pitch to Blake Brinkmeyer is low for a ball. The count is 0-1, is 1-0. Excuse me. So 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch. And that ball's going to be lifted to left field or right field. Paul Sachin there makes the catch. And there's 2 outs. So Weston Hicks will step to the plate. Hicks is 0 for 1 in this game. He walked in his first plate appearance. And then lined out to left fielder Carson Wright in his second. And here's the first pitch to Weston Hicks. That's a called strike. And the count is 0-1. And the on-deck circle for the Crimson Storm is Chase Hudson, who is just red hot. So you certainly would rather face him to lead off the 6th. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be inside for a ball. And that'll move the count to 1-1. So 1-1 the count. Nobody on, 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Rangers trailing at 4-1. Here's the pitch, and that ball's going to be caught by Jacob Wiltshire. It's a soft line drive. Wiltshire just took a couple steps back and reached up and made the catch. So it's 3 up, 3 down for the Crimson Storm in the 5th. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Rangers trailing at 4-1. Trevor Sayre set to lead things off for the Rangers in the 5th. He will be followed by Jacob Wiltshire and Dylan Bradford. Patrick Hines still on the mound for the Crimson Storm. Rangers trailing this one by a score of 4-1. The first pitch to Trevor Sayre is lifted into foul territory, and that's going to get down. And that's going to just be strike 1. You had Dax Edmonds, Trey Orman, and Colby Entwistle over there fighting the sun, trying to make the play. None of them could come up with the catch. And Trevor Sayre at bat will continue, but he will first go and have a chat with Rangers skipper Ryan Bowen. So the count's 0-1. Here's the pitch, and Sayre's going to bunt that one foul. Nice heads-up play from Sebastian Figa to catch it. And there's the first out of the inning for the Rangers. So that'll bring up Jacob Wiltshire. Wiltshire's 0 for 1 with a strikeout in this game. And Patrick Hine, who came into this game with a 6.04 ERA, battling one of the better hitting teams in the GAC, has pitched awfully well in the second game of the doubleheader. The first pitch to Jacob Wiltshire is fouled off, and the count is 0-1. So 0-1 the count, 1 run on 3 hits for the Rangers, 2 errors, 4 runs on 7 hits, and an error for the Crimson Storm. The second game of the doubleheader, I believe, will be a shortened 7-inning game. Here's the pitch, and that's swung on and missed. And the count moves to 0-2. To the count, and here's the pitch, and a little check swing, hit back to the pitcher who picks it up, flips to first, and there's the second out of the inning. So Wiltshire on just kind of a check swing, pretty well just tapped it back to the pitcher, Patrick Hine, who bobbled it, but ended up picking the ball up, flipped it over to Entwistle at first. And there's 2 outs. So that'll bring up Dylan Bradford. Bradford's 1 for 2 today. He singled in his first plate appearance and then flied out to Chase Hudson in left field in his second. First pitch to Bradford is a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. The count moves to 1-1. Carson Wright in the on-deck circle for the Rangers. He would be followed by Chad Green if the inning should be extended that far. The Rangers certainly hope that it will be. 1-1 the count. 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Rangers trailing at 4-1. Here's the pitch. And that ball's going to be chopped to second baseman Dax Edmonds up with it. Makes the throw. And the Rangers are retired. We go to the top of the 6th. Rangers trailing at 4-1. Chase Hudson to lead things off for the Crimson Storm. Hudson is 2 for 2 in this game. He has doubled and he has singled. The first pitch to Hudson is a called ball. And the 1-0 pitch is going to be roped into center field for another base hit. So Chase Hudson's good hitting continues as he is now 3 for 3 on the day. And that's just the second game of the doubleheader. We talked about what he did in the first game earlier, where he went 3 for 4. So he is now 6 for 7 in the 2 games combined. That'll bring up Tucker LeMay. And LeMay in this game is 1 for 2. He has reached on a bunt, and he also reached on an error. Nobody out, runner on first. He squares to bunt, but the pitch is called for a strike. And the count is 0-1. So 0-1 the count, runner on first. Here's the pitch. And they're going to say it hit him. Or are they? They're not going to say that. They're going to say it's fouled off. So that'll move the count to 0-2. Oh, and 2 the count, runner on first. Rangers trailing at 4-1. We're in the top of the 6th. We'll play 7 today. And the 0-2 pitch is going to be taken for a ball. And that'll move the count to 1-2. 2 runs in the second, 2 runs in the fourth for the Crimson Storm. 1 run in the second for the Rangers. 1-2 the count here with a runner on first. Squares to bunt, and he fouls that off, and so that'll be a call. That'll be a strike 3. So that'll bring Sebastian Figa to the plate. 1 out now in the top of the 6th. Runner on first. Sebastian Figa is 0 for 1 in this game with a strikeout and a walk. And the first pitch to Figa is a called strike. So it's 0-1 to the Southern Nazarene starting catcher. 0-1 the count. And here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. I'll take the count to 0-2. Here's Toborg with the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3. So that's the second out of the inning. And that'll bring Colby Entwistle to the plate. Entwistle in this game is 0 for 3. He has grounded out twice and been called out on strikes. That's now 6 strikeouts by Ranger pitchers in this second game of the doubleheader. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. Rangers will send Carson Wright, Chad Green, and Paul Sachin to the plate in the bottom of the 6th. Looking for yet another come-from-behind win this season. They've had several already. Here's the pitch. And that ball's going to be hit to shortstop. Wiltshire up with it. Flips to second. And there's the third out of the inning. To the bottom of the 6th we go. It'll be Wright, Green, and Sachin. Rangers trailing at 4-1. Carson Wright will lead things off for the Rangers in the bottom of the 6th. Patrick Hines still on the mound for the Crimson Storm. Hines has thrown 74 pitches to this point in the game, 48 of them for strikes. And the first pitch to Carson Wright in the 6th is a called strike. The 0-1 pitch. And Wright's going to flip that one to shortstop, up with it, fires to first, and there's the first out of the inning. Nice play by Tucker LeMay there at the shortstop position. The ball wasn't hit particularly hard, and LeMay had to charge it and make the good throw to first, which he did. And Carson Wright is retired 6-3. So that'll bring Chad Green to the plate. Green in this game is 1 for 2. He has struck out and singled. And Patrick Hine continues to baffle these Ranger hitters. Chad Green is first pitch swinging, and it's a foul ball. So the count is 0-1. Paul Sachin in the on-deck circle for the Rangers. 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch. And that's over for a strike. The count moves to 0-2. The count. Nobody on, 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Rangers trailing it 4-1. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and that's going to be lifted foul. And the count will hold at 0-2. Will Cates off to go get the foul ball. Nice job, Will. 0-2 the count. 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Nobody on. And here's the 0-2 pitch to Chad Green. And that's going to be low and outside for a ball. That'll move the count to 1-2. 80 pitches thrown now by Patrick Hine for the Crimson Storm, 53 of them for strikes. He's ahead in the count here to Chad Green, 1-2. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be well short of home plate for a ball. The count will move to 2-2. 2-2 the count. Rangers trying to get something going here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch, and that's inside, and that'll move the count full to 3-2. Here's Hine with the payoff pitch. And Chad Green fouls that one off. The count will remain at 3-2. Paul Sachin in the on-deck circle for the Rangers. He would be followed by Colby Grace. And then Hagen Barcelo if the inning gets extended. 3-2 the count. 1 out, bottom of the 6th. Nobody on for the Rangers. Northwestern trailing this one by a score of 4-1. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And that ball's going to be chopped to third. That's going to get through for a base hit. Blake Brinkmeyer dove valiantly but couldn't come up with the ball. And the Rangers have a base runner aboard for Paul Sachin. Sachin in this game is 0 for 2. He struck out swinging his first plate appearance, then popped up to third baseman Blake Brinkmeyer in his second. We're going to have a pinch runner. And it looks as though the pinch runner is going to be Theron Perkins, I believe. So that's what I'm going to go with. Paul Sachin at the plate. Theron Perkins leading off from first base. And here's the pitch. And the first pitch to Sachin is low for a ball. And the count is 1-0. Rangers, of course, have come from behind on several different occasions this year with multiple walk-off wins. 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed for strike. And the count moves to 1-1. Nobody up for Southern Nazarene in their bullpen, so they're going to ride it out with Patrick Hine. 1-1 the count to Paul Sachin. Runner on first, 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch. And that ball is roped into right field up onto this Trey Orman. He makes the catch, and there's the second out. Theron Perkins back to first safely. So Paul Sachin hit the ball hard. Unfortunately, he hit it right to the right fielder. And that'll bring Colby Grace to the plate. Grace in this game is 0 for 2. He has flied out twice. Hine checks the runner. Here's the pitch. And the first pitch to Colby Grace is low for a ball. And the count is 1-0. So 1-0 the count. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Rangers with a runner on first. Trailing at 4-1. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed. And the count moves to 1-1. So 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch, and that's off the plate for a ball. So that'll move the count to 2-1. Two and one the count. Runner on first. Here's the pitch, and that's outside for a ball. And that'll move the count to 3-1. If Colby Grace can get aboard, Hagen Barcelo would bat next for the Rangers. Barcelo in this game is 1 for 2 with a solo home run back in the second. He also homered in the first game of our doubleheader. Here's the 3-1 pitch. And the 3-1 pitch is going to be fouled off. Whistle goes back and takes a look, but it's out of play. The count moves to 3-2. So 3-2 the count. Here's the pitch to Colby Grace, and that's going to be inside for ball 4. So that'll bring to the plate Hagen Barcelo. Barcelo's 1 for 2 today in this game with a home run. He also homered in the first game of the doubleheader, and that was his only hit in that game, but it was certainly a loud one. And we're going to have a visit to the pitcher's mound. So the conversation with pitcher Patrick Hine has concluded. Hagen Barcelo steps to the plate with 2 on, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Rangers trailing at 4-1. Here's the first pitch to Barcelo, and Barcelo's first pitch swinging sends it to center field, pretty deep, back on it, but makes the catch as Jacob Martinez at the wall, and the Rangers are retired in the 6th. So to the 7th we go. Rangers trailing this one 4-1. Dax Edmonds, Jacob Martinez, and Trey Orman set to hit for Southern Nazarene here in the top of the 7th. Dawson Toborg on for another work of inning, and ball's hit to shortstop Wiltshire up to first base, and there's the first out. So 6-3 if you're scoring at home. And the first out for the Crimson Storm is recorded in the top of the 7th. That'll bring to the plate Jacob Martinez. Martinez in this game is 0 for 3. He is grounded out to Hagen Barcelo. He flied out to Paul Sachin in right field, and he was called out on strikes in his first plate appearance. Dawson Toborg looking to continue his very effective day coming out of the bullpen. First pitch to Martinez is a called ball. Toborg now pitched 3 1/3 innings, giving up an earned run. Martinez swings and misses. The count moves to 1-1. Only one hit given up by Toborg. One walk. He struck out 2. Been very effective in the situation that he was called into. The 1-1 pitch is taken for a ball, and the count moves to 2-1. On deck for the Crimson Storm is Trey Orman. 2-1 the count. Here's the pitch, and that ball's going to be hit high and deep to right field. Paul Sachin is back and leaps and can't come up with it. And Jacob Martinez rounds second. He is in with a stand-up triple. So that'll bring to the plate Trey Orman. Orman today is 0 for 2. He has struck out twice and been hit by a pitch. The situation now is that Southern Nazarene has a runner on third with 1 out. We're in the top of the 7th. They're leading this one by a score of 4-1. 4 runs on 9 hits for the Crimson Tide, 1 error. 1 run on 4 hits and 2 errors for the Northwestern Rangers. And Dawson Toborg trying to keep the score where it is to give his offense a chance to win it in the 7th. Here's the first pitch to Trey Orman. And Orman, his first pitch swing, he's going to get a base hit. And that's going to score 1. Orman rounds first. He's on his way to second. And Orman is in with a double. So Southern Nazarene now leading this one by a score of 5-1. And that'll bring up Blake Brinkmeyer. Brinkmeyer in this game is 2 for 3. He has singled twice. And he flew out to Paul Sachin in his other at-bat. 1 out in the top of the 7th. Here's the pitch. And Brinkmeyer's first pitch swing sends it to center field. Sarah is there, makes the catch. And the runner is back safely, but that's 2 outs. So that'll bring Weston Hicks to the plate. Hicks today has walked, and he has lined out twice, once to Jacob Wiltshire at shortstop and once to Carson Wright in left field. Here's the first pitch to Hicks. And that's off the plate for a ball. 1-0. The on-deck circle for the Crimson Storm is the red-hot Chase Hudson, who's had himself quite a day, going 6 for 7 so far. 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch. And that's a little high for a ball. So 2-0 the count. 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Southern Nazarene has already scored 1 in this inning to extend their lead to 5-1. They have a runner on second. Here's the pitch. And that's inside for a ball. 3-0. Rangers do have a right-handed pitcher getting warm in the bullpen, hoping to not need him. Here's the 3-0 pitch. And that catches the inside corner for a strike. And that'll move the count to 3-1. So 3-1 the count. The sun setting in Alva. Here's the pitch. And that's a called strike 2. Hicks thought he had worked the walk. Home plate umpire disagreed. 3-2 the count. 2 outs, top of the 7th. Rangers will have Vital, Sarah, and Wiltshire to hit in the bottom of the 7th. The 3-2 pitch is going to be low for a ball. And so that'll bring up Chase Hudson to the plate. Hudson in this game is 3 for 3. He has doubled. He has singled twice. He's got an RBI in this game. That follows up his first game, in the first game of the doubleheader, where he went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. And so this is not the guy you want to be facing in this situation. Here's the first pitch from Torborg. And the first pitch is a called strike 1. 0-1 the count to Chase Hudson. Runners on first and second. 2 outs, top of the 7th. Rangers trailing it 5-1. Looks like we'll have a courtesy runner at first base. I didn't pick up his number, so I apologize for that. Oh, and 1 the count. Runners at first and second. 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Dawson Toborg on the mound for the Rangers. Here's the pitch, and that's swung on and missed. So that'll move the count to 0-2. And Dawson Toborg is 1 strike away from getting out of a sticky situation. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3. So Dawson Toborg gets the strikeout. The Crimson Storm does pick up another run. They lead it 5-1. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It's hero time. On to the 7th we go. Zach Vital will lead things off for the Rangers. Vital is 0 for 2 in this game. He reached by an error in his first at-bat. Grounded out to shortstop Tucker LeMay in his second. And here's the first pitch to Vital. And it's going to be low for a ball. So 1-0 the count to the Rangers catcher. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Count moves to 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's going to be low for a ball. Count moves to 2-1. Trevor Sayre scheduled to be the next Ranger hitter. He would be followed by Jacob Wiltshire and then the top of the lineup. Rangers trailing this one by a score of 5-1. After winning the opening day of the doubleheader by a score of 10-7, the 2-1 pitch is taken for a ball. Count moves to 3-1. Rangers trying to get that all-important leadoff runner aboard. Here's the 3-1 pitch. And that ball's going to be chopped to third. Brinkmeyer up with it, fires to first, and it's 1 up, 1 down for the Rangers in the bottom of the 7th. So looks like we'll have a pinch hitter. And it'll be Porter Pittman. Porter Pittman trying to get things started for the team from Alva. Pittman did not bat in the first game of the doubleheader. Here's the first pitch. And the first pitch to Porter Pittman is a ball. And the count is 1-0. 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch. And that's a called strike. That'll move the count to 1-1. Nobody on for the Rangers in the bottom of the 7th. There's 1 out. Rangers trailing it by a score of 5-1. Trying to come through with another heroic moment. That ball is hit to the pitcher, Hine, who leaps, makes the catch, fires to first. And the Rangers are down to their final out. That'll bring to the plate for the Rangers another pinch hitter. Brady Bejarano. Brady Bejarano trying to start some 2-out magic for the Rangers. And the first pitch to Bejarano is a called strike. And the count is 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. And Bejarano fouls that one off. The count moves to 0-2. So the Rangers are down to their final strike. 0-2 the count. Nobody on, bottom of the 7th. Rangers trailing it 5-1. Patrick Hine has gone the whole way for the Crimson Storm in this second game of the doubleheader. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And Bejarano stays alive, fouls that one off. The count holds at 0-2. Dylan Bradford in the on-deck circle for the Rangers, hoping to get a shot at it. Oh, 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. Count moves to 1-2. Nobody up for the Crimson Storm. 1-2 the count. Nobody on. Bottom of the 7th. 2 outs. Bejarano at the plate. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. And the count moves to 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And they appeal to first. No swing. Count moves to 3-2. Three and two the count. Here's the payoff pitch. And that's inside for ball 4. So that'll bring Dylan Bradford to the plate. Bradford in this game is 1 for 3. He is singled. He is flied out to left fielder Chase Hudson, and he grounded out to second baseman Dax Edmonds. But the Rangers have certainly shown that they're not done until they're done this year. And the first pitch to Dylan Bradford is inside for a ball. So 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch. And that hit him. So Dylan Bradford will take first. Brady Bejarano will move to second. And that'll bring up Carson Wright to the plate. Carson Wright in this game is 0 for 2. He has grounded out twice and he has walked. And we'll get a visit to the pitching mound. Patrick Hine has thrown now 111 pitches. So it wouldn't be terribly surprising to see the Crimson Storm go to the bullpen here. But we'll have to see how they want to play it. And I believe that we are going to have a pitching change. I believe it's going to be, I think it's going to be center fielder Jacob Martinez who's going to come into pitch. Martinez has pitched in these situations for the Crimson Storm. And that is exactly what we're going to see. So Martinez, the graduate student out of Ventura, Colorado, will move from center field to the pitcher's mound, where on the season he has pitched 19 1/3 innings for the Crimson Storm. He's given up 19 hits. He's given up 12 earned runs. He's walked 10. He's struck out 32. On February 2nd against Newman, he struck out 8 in 5 innings. February the 9th at Northeastern State, he struck out 8 in 5 innings. On February the 17th against Harding, he struck out 8 in 4 1/3 innings. And on March the 2nd at East Central, he struck out 4 in 3 innings. And so he is a strikeout pitcher. Got an ERA of 5.59 on the season. And it looks like he is a lefty. And he will face Carson Wright, who would be followed by Chad Green and Paul Sachin if the Rangers can extend things here in the 7th. 2 runs in the 2nd, 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 7th. 1 run in the 2nd for the Rangers, who trail this one by a score of 5-1. The 1 run coming by virtue of Hagen Barcelo's solo home run all the way back in the 2nd. And it's been zeros ever since for the Rangers in terms of the scoreboard. So Carson Wright steps to the plate. 0 for 2 in this game. First game of the doubleheader, he did have 2 hits, 3 RBIs, and he walked twice. Here's the first pitch from Jacob Martinez, and that is low for a ball. It gets away from catcher Sebastian Figa, but not far enough to advance the Ranger runners. We're in the bottom of the 7th. There's 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Rangers trailing at 5-1. And here's the 1-0 pitch. And Carson Wright looks at ball 2. Chad Green in the on-deck circle for the Rangers if this game is extended. Here's the 2-0 pitch. And Carson Wright looks at ball 3. If Carson Wright can get on board here, Chad Green would come to the plate, and he's got 2 hits so far. The 3-0 pitch to Carson Wright is a called strike. And the count moves to 3-1. The 3-1 pitch to Carson Wright is fouled off, and that moves the count to 3-2. So 3-2, here's the pitch, and that ball's going to be hit right back up the middle. Up with it is the shortstop. He tries to get to second, but Dylan Bradford beats him out. And the Rangers are still alive. So Carson Wright with the infield single. And that'll bring Chad Green to the plate. And Chad Green today is 2 for 3. He has struck out once and he singled twice. In the first game of the doubleheader, he went 1 for 5, but the one hit netted him an RBI. And the Rangers are still alive. The first pitch to Chad Green is outside for a ball, and the count is 1-0. If Chad Green should reach, Paul Sachin would be the next hitter for the Rangers. 1-0 the count to Chad Green. Here's the pitch. And that gets the outside corner for a strike. That'll move the count to 1-1. So 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch. And the 1-1 pitch is over for a strike. And that moves the count to 1-2. So Rangers are down to their final strike. Bases are loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Rangers trailing at 5-1. Here's the pitch. And that ball is going to be fouled off. Or did they say... No, that's not fouled off. That's a run. So I think what happened was the ball maybe hit home plate. Either way, the Rangers get a run across. So that'll make it 5-2 for Paul Sachin. Sachin is 0 for 3 today. And he's first pitch swinging. That ball is through for a base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Carson Wright. Here comes the throw, and he will score. And the Rangers have cut it to 5-4. Paul Sachin with the 2-run single. And can the Rangers do it yet again? Colby Gray steps to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. Here's the first pitch. And the first pitch to Colby Grace catches the outside corner for a strike. And the count is 0-1. Colby Grace in this game is 0 for 2. He has walked and flied out twice. First game of the doubleheader, he went 0 for 4. 0-1 the count, runners at first and second. Here's the pitch. And that ball's roped into right field. That's going to get through for a base hit. Chad Green rounds third. He's coming home. Here comes the throw. Not in time. The Rangers have tied it. And the team that will not go away continues to battle, and they have tied this game. Wow. Colby Grace with the RBI single. Chad Green hustling all the way. Comes around to score. Paul Sachin gets to third. And that'll bring up Hagen Barcelo. Here's the first pitch to Barcelo. That's a called strike. Barcelo's 1 for 3 in this game with a home run. He also homered in the first game of our doubleheader. Here's the pitch. And Barcelo swings and, that ball gets away from the catcher and the Rangers are going to win. Wow, in the most unbelievable way, the Rangers come back and win 6-5, and yet again another walk-off win for this Ranger team that absolutely will not quit and will fight to the very last moment of a game. Several times the Rangers were down to their final strike in this game, and they kept battling, clutch hitting, and the Rangers are going to sweep the doubleheader with a chance to sweep the series tomorrow. What an unbelievable team this is. You know, if you haven't been out to Alva to watch, if you haven't come out to watch this Ranger team, you're really doing yourself a disservice because this is a really fun team to watch, and they don't quit, and they scrap, and they scrap, and they scrap, and they don't quit until the game's over. What a game. What an absolutely fabulous game. So the Rangers get 5 in the 7th, and they come back and win this one by a score of 6-5. Rangers move to 7-4 in the GAC. They're now 12-2 at home, including multiple walk-off wins, and they get another one in the second game of the doubleheader. Wow, what a fantastic ball game. Well, I'm breathless, absolutely speechless. The Rangers get 6 runs on 8 hits, 2 errors. Southern Nazarene, 5 runs on 10 hits and an error. Rangers sweep the doubleheader, take the first game 10-7, take the second game 6-5. Boy, what a fun team this is. Well, that's going to be it for us, folks. Hey, tomorrow, don't miss it. 1 o'clock, first pitch. Don't forget to set your clocks ahead. Otherwise, you're not going to be on time for church. You're not going to be on time for Ranger baseball. Coming out tomorrow at 1 o'clock and watch a really fun team play some ball. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.